Hey everybody, I'm Sierra.
And I'm Ben.
And welcome back to another episode of The Unsolved Couple, where every week Ben and I recap one of your original gateway drugs in true crime.
Unsolved mysteries.
All right, let's kick it. Down, 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 down.
It's a great song.
It is a great song. Did I impress you the other day with my ability to sing that song?
I was impressed, but I'm always impressed by everything you do.
I don't think our kids were impressed.
No.
They seemed to be annoyed at the music selection choices in the car the other day.
Our 90s, early 2000s mix.
Some
yours.
The best. I told Ben, and I'm sure he loves hearing this over and over again, that I want to start a podcast idea.
Sierra has a lot of podcast ideas.
I do have a lot of podcast ideas, but one of them is just born out of me and Ben as married 40-something-year-old people with jobs and children, listening back to the music that we grew up on, and it's wildly out of pocket, or it makes no sense whatsoever.
Extremely inappropriate.
Or highly inappropriate.
Obviously. What was the song that we were listening to that we realized that they're singing to each other and she's singing because she's just cheating on. She's singing to the boy she's cheating on
Nelly.
Her boyfriend with.
I love you and I need you. Yeah. But she's singing that song.
When I'm with my boo.
All I think about is you.
Yeah.
That one. Sorry for my singing, guys. I'm not a singer.
I thought it was great. I love it. I love your singing. But it is amazing.
I loved that song. And I thought it was like a love song, right? And then you listen to the lyrics and you're like, oh, no.
It kind of is a love song.
But to the wrong person.
But it's a toxic relationship love song.
But then he also sings something about West Coast, East Coast, this song's wild. Anyways, I was like, it would be really fun to do a podcast where we listen to the music, which we couldn't probably play most of it on the podcast because we don't own any rights to it. We'd have to break it up into pieces.
We're probably going to get dinged for you singing that.
Probably. They're going to be
Nelly's coming.
He's like, I know exactly that.
That's my song.
That's my song. And she's
singing it better than me.
So good that I'm going to have to get her to take it down. But to break these lyrics down and then just have discussions about.
It is wild.
They are wild. Even some and I love Backstreet Boys and New Kids on the Block and Britney Spears. All of that was my jam. And you listen to some of these songs and you're like, whoa. Also, most of the time, these were 17, 18, 19-year-old boys singing to 14 and 15-year-old girls.
The best is Boys to Men.
Okay. Yeah. Boys to Men. They didn't even hide
terrible. It is so bad.
Some of their songs. One time, Ben and I, we'll get to the episode, I promise. One time, Ben and I went through, we ended up doing this for a couple of hours one night, watching music videos.
Yeah.
Of Boys to Men, New Kids on the Block. NSYNC, and all of that.
It's so bad.
They're so bad. They're so bad in the best of ways. And also amazing. So, anyways. Okay, so any other fun things to share with our friends before we dive in? The cat is with us today, laying wherever he chooses. So if you hear weird noises in the background.
He's on the table right now.
He's on the table. Yeah.
Almost on the computer.
He's never laid here before, ever.
No.
And he usually freaks out when the door is closed.
But he doesn't care.
He's insisted on being in here today and then joining the podcast. So special guest is Vixen.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything to share with everyone?
No, I think I'm good.
College football's back. Professional football starts tomorrow. That's exciting, right? We're all excited about that.
We're all so excited. Yay, sports.
And October's around the corner.
Sports ball is my favorite.
Sports ball. Yeah.
I mean, huge congratulations to one of our top listeners, Taylor Swift, for her engagement to a football player named Travis Kelce.
Can we move on?
She's a big fan of the podcast.
I refuse to
They
talk.
listen to it together. So congratulations, guys. That's all I know in the football news.
That's not football.
No, I'm glad that your fall things are back. I have an inward battle every year because everywhere else in the entire United States and most of like Canada and across the pond, everything above the equator is starting to turn fall. And people are posting about it.
It's only
and
September.
I keep getting messages from my favorite shopping sites that their fall lines have launched and I want to buy all the sweaters. And guess what?
You can't wear a sweater right now.
Nope. It's still 100 degrees outside.
Still very hot here.
Yeah. So I'll be in a mood until it cools down.
I know.
All right. We're recapping season 3, episode 9. Ben, how does it feel back to be to our original love, Unsolved Mysteries?
It's the same. The only good thing about this is because we've been doing it so long, I was in a routine of how to do my notes, all that. That last one with the 3 episodes, it was very difficult because you're trying to tell a story, but they're telling a story.
Yeah.
And they're already telling the story. I don't know. It was different. It was harder to take notes on that. I had to work a little bit more. At least with this, I know what I'm doing and get in my routine.
Yeah, I noticed that. I actually I enjoyed it because I got to do more creative writing. I got to kind of be more of a storyteller in it. And I enjoyed that, but it does take a lot more time instead of kind of our format of how we recap things. So, yeah. All right. Ben is going to start us off today, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And Ben, you guys, this was an exciting story. Are you doing the first one?
Yeah.
Okay. Because as we were watching this, we're going to get into it, but take it away, Ben. I'm excited.
Excited it's an interesting word.
It's an interesting word.
All right. We're going to hear the story of Chuck Morgan in Tucson, Arizona, right where we live.
Mm-hmm.
So
I thought about trying to find his house and doing a drive-by.
Yeah, no. Anyways, so we get introduced on March 22nd, 1977. Chuck Morgan is the president of the escrow agency that he works for. Mm-hmm. And he's in real estate and other things.
It's a lot of conflicts of interest happening right there. I don't think you can do that anymore.
Yeah, this is your wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. I don't know anything about this industry. And there's even more involved in this industry that you probably don't know.
Yeah, anyone listening outside of the United States who has never purchased a house before, an escrow company is like the hub where they hold the funds, they do the tax paperwork. They do a ton of the legal paperwork. It's where you sign papers. Everything's notarized. So it's a huge player in the world of real estate. And on top of that, when you pay your fees to the escrow company pays $0 to the realtor. We make no money by hiring the escrow company. So that's where the conflict of interest comes in when you're a realtor, also then potentially making money off of that part of the transaction. Things can get murky, and we're going to find out very quickly that is the case.
Yeah. Anyway, so then they let me just explain this to everybody. Again, Unsolved Mysteries does a pretty terrible job in telling this story. And they're very vague in some things. They skim over some details. I'm just going to try to tell it the way Unsolved Mysteries tells it, with as much clarification as possible. Okay. But if you come away confused, it's probably my fault, and so be it. All right. They just dropped this bombshell right at the beginning. He was a potential witness in a state land fraud case involving known organized
criminal organizations.
A known organized crime boss. That's what they say. That was their quote.
Mm-hmm.
We get zero information on that case and who the crime boss is.
Yeah, we never find out.
So Morgan, on the morning of March 22nd, 1977, is taking two of his daughters to school, drops them off, and is not seen. He disappears. Okay. 3 days later, his wife, Ruth, hears some noise in the middle of the night. It's 2 a.m. at the back door. She opens the door because that's what people do at 2 a.m. They open the door and her husband's there.
Mm-hmm.
He is all disheveled. He's missing a shoe. He has plastic handcuffs on his hands, remnants of handcuffs on his feet. They say it was on one ankle.
Well, they were. So when they said plastic handcuffs, I was thinking like the toys that you get as kids, you know, those plastic handcuffs.
No.
Just in case anyone else has the same thought track. I was like, well, who picked those up at the Dollar Tree? Come on. No. But they were zip ties.
Yeah, at least, yeah. So I said he was missing a shoe. He couldn't talk. He said that he'd been drugged with some type of hallucinogen. So his wife gets him in the house, gets him on the bed. He won't talk. She says, "Can you write?" He writes stuff down and he tells her.
So he was missing for 3 days?
Yes.
And she didn't report her husband missing?
Yeah. I know you might have questions about that, but you're not allowed to ask that.
Okay.
I don't think any of us are. That's it. There is so much.
Well, then that means she was well aware that he was doing things he shouldn't have been doing.
Very possible.
Your husband doesn't show. He drops the kids off at school and is gone for 3 days, and you never file a missing persons report?
I don't know. I don't understand.
Had he disappeared before?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
This is the same question I had. How have you not contacted the police and filed? And why are you not freaked out that your husband has been missing for 3 days?
Yeah, either A, it was common, or B, she knew that this was a risk of his job.
Yeah.
Or of his income.
She's interviewed.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So
she makes no sense while she's being interviewed.
No. She just is telling you these things, but there's so many more questions.
And she's telling them to you just very casually.
So he was really concerned. He wanted her to move the car instantly. She says, "I need to call a doctor and the police." And he says, "Absolutely not. Do not call anyone. That's a death sentence for us and the whole family if you do." So she doesn't. And she moves the car because for some reason, I know so many questions everyone has.
Yeah.
So do I. She says she nurses him back to health for a week. Also,
what drug takes a week to get out of your system? And what drug doesn't allow you to be able to speak? And then it continue, because she was saying for that entire week, he wasn't talking.
He did not talk to her. He just wrote things down. All great questions here.
I don't believe him.
And none really have
None
answers.
of this is making any sense.
Yeah, I know. So she nurses him back. And then my other question is his job. He can just not show up for a week and a half.
No one is looking for this guy.
No one's looking for this guy. Hey, man, why didn't you come to work?
It makes me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it makes me think the escrow company. He was president of it. It's I really need to be careful about what I say because I do this for a living. There's a lot. It is the 70s.
50 years.
I was going to say nowadays when you work in this field, there are so many rules and regulations and disclosures and paperwork you have to sign on all sides. And it's because of things like this.
I was going to say, I bet half the stuff that you are now obligated by didn't exist 50 years ago.
No.
So it's trying to understand an industry that is not the same. It's totally, I'm the same way.
But as someone who works in it, I can see how if those regulations and stuff weren't there, how easy it would be to get roped into something. It was ripe for the picking, and it makes sense. So yeah, the fact that the crime boss didn't show up to work, who's running the escrow company, but is also handling these transactions, you don't probably get, I cannot imagine, everyone acts ignorant to this. There's no way that people in his life did not know what he was doing.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, we're just not going to get a lot of the details.
Yeah.
So he then tells her something in the fact of, they took my treasury ID. And she tells us this is the first she's ever heard of this. What do you mean they took your treasury ID? I don't know why, like, that's the thing you tell her. I don't know. Maybe, hey, why don't you tell her why you were missing for 3 days and came in all disheveled and tied up? That might be something you want to tell. But your treasury ID is your top priority. Supposedly, he then says that he'd been working for the treasury.
What is a treasury ID?
You,
is that a real thing?
What the Department of Treasury is, yes, a real thing. That's a government
I know, but
agency.
did he work for the Department of Treasury?
That's
okay.
He says that he'd been working for the Department of Treasury for the last 2 to 3 years. So,
okay.
So this is where Robert Stack comes back in.
Mm-hmm.
We get told this part of the story. Robert Stack says, so was he a secret agent for the Treasury? Was he giving the Treasury and the federal government information about organized crimes dealings in the Tucson area?
Mm-hmm.
Because then they go on to tell us about how Tucson in the 70s had become a massive hub for the mafia and organized crime.
Mm-hmm. More close to the border.
Yeah, because there was a major pipeline for drugs to come in and out of the country. So
thank goodness we got a handle on that now.
So Dawn, there was a mafia boss by the name of Joseph Bonanno, and he had come down here, and they said like there was over like 500 mafia guys down here doing business, running drugs. And there was this, there was a law.
There still is. You can buy land here in the state of Arizona under the name of a trust.
Yeah. So there was a law that you can buy land through a numbered blind trust. So,
I don't know if you can do it as a blind trust anymore, but so yeah, your personal name and ownership is not tied to the land, allowing people to basically buy up land under like a blanket name and it not be traced back to them.
Yeah. So we learned that a lot of mafia guys were down here. They were buying up land, and it was a way for them to launder money. And we also get told, so then this is important. We get an investigative journalist by the name of Don Devereaux.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he kind of tells us he's this investigative journalist who's been looking into, because I guess there was another investigative journalist by the name of Don Boyos.
Yeah.
Who was killed by the mafia.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big thing down here in Tucson in the 70s. So, but he starts telling us that they were also laundering money through the purchase of gold bullion and platinum. Mm-hmm. And he says that Chuck definitely was involved in buying this stuff, billions worth of dollars, at least on paper, but no actual, like, no one ever saw any of this.
No one actually had physical gold in their hand. But it was a great way to
launder money. And Chuck had definitely had ties and had done some business for some mafia families. Like, that is a known fact. How involved that he was with doing real estate or this gold bullion and platinum transactions, they don't know.
Clearly, he was more involved in it than I think.
Yeah,
not,
and
I
here's
guess.
the thing. There's much more to it. This is a world I don't understand, so I'm probably not giving the best description.
They need a good
how
secretary.
this stuff works. So I apologize if anyone's like, that doesn't make any sense. Didn't make a whole lot of sense to me either.
But you don't work in organized crime.
But I also don't work in these transaction stuff.
Yeah.
I don't understand how they were laundering money and all that through that. But either way, there was ties of Chuck doing business, helping at least some organized crime families, purchasing up stuff and using that to launder money.
My guess is going to be business. There's so many mines around here. I mean, Arizona is packed with mining. I'm going to guess that there was pretend mining going on, and they were saying that they were purchasing, or that people were purchasing gold that didn't really exist. Yeah. And it goes along with platinum, nickel, all of that. Copper is all down here. That's just my assumption of that's how that was happening.
So this is kind of the state of Tucson and the state of the economy and that going on during this time. So, all right, Chuck's back. He's recovered. He's going back to work. No one seems worried that he was missing.
They didn't really change anything in their life.
Clearly, the police were not called because they never investigated his first disappearance.
Yep.
Okay. So Chuck's now a little bit more paranoid. So what does he do? He wears a bulletproof vest every day. Okay. That is not common amongst people that
work in real estate. No, I leave my bulletproof vest at home when I go to work.
So he starts wearing a bulletproof vest. He insists that he has 4 daughters, drives them to school and from school. So he's paranoid, right?
Yeah. My guy, you have gotten in bed with the wrong people, and you clearly did something that ticked them off.
Yeah. Yeah. So 2 months later, Chuck vanishes again. Okay. He just disappears, doesn't come home. Okay.
Okay.
Do you think his wife called the police?
No.
No, she didn't. She then tells us that 9 days after he had been missing, she gets a phone call from a lady who says, hey, listen, Chuck's okay. And she just tells her Ecclesiastes 12:1-8.
Oh, you guys buckle up. It's about
it's going to get weird here.
Very weird.
Okay. So 2 days after that, she has no idea what that means. She goes and reads it. You can go read it. It doesn't make any sense.
No.
I don't know what it means. 2 days later, Chuck's body is discovered out in the desert. Okay. He still has his bulletproof vest on. And there was he's killed by a single gunshot wound to the back of the head with his own .357 Magnum. Correct? Okay. Police come out. Sheriff's office comes out. Pima County Sheriff.
Pima County.
Yeah. They come out and investigate. They say they found directions to the place where he was found. So on a piece of paper in his car, there was directions to that place. So someone had given him directions to get there. Okay. They found a pair of sunglasses that did not belong to him and a $2 bill clipped in his underwear. I also found out from my research, a piece of his tooth was wrapped up in a handkerchief in his car. And there was multiple guns, and a crap ton of ammunition in his car. They don't tell us that on Unsolved Mysteries, but I learned that later. Way more to it.
That makes a little bit more sense because they theorize he might have been meeting somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on this $2 bill, it gets weird, people.
Yeah, he leaves us very clear ideas of what happened.
There's listed on the front of the $2 bill 7 Spanish names.
Yep.
And if you look at them, it's A through whatever, G.
Yeah.
You know, each name is, whatever. Then Ecclesiastes 12, verse 1-8 is written on the front of it.
Again, what?
Yeah, I know. And then on the back of it, there's multiple signers of the declaration numbered 1-7, what that means. But then there is a map on there on the back.
Where is Nicolas Cage when we need him?
There's multiple roads written on the back of this.
Yeah, this is where Ben gets excited.
And this is where I was like, oh, I know this. Because I work in this area.
Yeah.
86, Highway 86 is on there. There's a road that goes down, which is technically Highway 286.
It's down by Arivaca.
So there's another road written over, and there is the town of Arivaca circled on there. They don't say that, but I saw it on there. And it goes down to the town of Sassabee, which I also know. I've worked in all of this area.
And the town of Arivaca, what's the...
It's a smuggling town.
Yeah, I was saying, how do people make money in Arivaca?
In multiple ways, but some people might make money by smuggling. I cannot confirm
nor deny.
Yeah. But then there's... and
I guess, were you surprised to see Arivaca on there with this?
In Sassabee
and all of that with what we know
they
about.
They say Robles Junction, but Robles Junction is another town.
Yeah.
It's called Robles Junction and 3 Points.
Yeah.
All
Were
areas.
you surprised that any of this happened around that area?
No.
Absolutely That's all people need to know. Yeah.
And there's a ranch called the Buenos Aires Ranch, and that's on this map.
Yeah.
Okay. What the map means, we don't know.
Yeah.
So Pima County Sheriff's investigate it, and what do? They rule his death a suicide. Yep, you heard that right.
I'm not surprised. Pima
Suicide.
County. In the 70s? Yeah, I guarantee.
I am. I know a lot of sheriffs. They're all...
I'm talking about in the 70s. Yeah, like it being, you got to look the other way.
So, I think Tucson was a different town in the 70s
100%.
than the
Clearly.
town we know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, somehow this gets ruled a suicide. We even get like a retired lieutenant with the Pima County Sheriff. They interview him, and he's like, yeah, listen, I knew guys that knew this wasn't that, and they left the sheriff's department, and some of them left the country because he goes, it wasn't necessarily over this case, but what he pretty much says, what a lot of stuff that was going on in this town at that time. So like, okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good.
Yeah.
At all. So 2 days after his body's found, Pima County Sheriff does get a phone call from a lady. She calls herself Green Eyes, and she tells them a story that she met with Chuck before he died, that she'd met him at a hotel, and he had a briefcase full of money, and that he had admitted to her that he was using this money to try and buy his way out of a hit that had been put out on him. So there was so that's what she just tells that story. They would never track her down and never talk to her. So we don't even know who this lady is.
Do you think that was his girlfriend?
I don't know. I honestly don't.
Okay.
Maybe. So 3 weeks later, Ruth tells us that 2 guys show up at her door, flash their badges real quick, say they're with the FBI, and they search her house. She has no idea what they're searching for. She doesn't know if they take anything. She also says she didn't even think to ask for a search warrant. So they just come in and ransack her house and then leave. So this is where it gets a little weird. Don Devereaux, the investigative journalist, comes back and he says, listen, I actually looked into this. I contacted the FBI and asked them, hey, did you search your house? What's going on?
He did a Freedom of Information.
He did a Freedom of Information Act on everything they had on Chuck, right?
Yeah.
And the FBI claims, we don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, we don't have any files under that name.
And even Devereaux says, I know that's a lie, because they interviewed Chuck's attorney. They had done an investigation. He goes, so the question is, they're lying to him. Was that them? Nah. And the reason they think that they searched her house is because Chuck supposedly told his wife that if anything happens to me, told his dad, I'm sorry, if anything happens to me, there's a letter explaining everything, who, what, when, where, why. So it's all going to come out. Well, that letter's never surfaced. So
never been found. So he either hid it really well or it never existed.
Never existed. So
yeah.
Was that the mafia looking for it, or was that
Could
the
have been.
FBI looking for it?
Was the FBI also in cahoots with the mafia? Could have been.
So technically, his death is still ruled.
Are you kidding me? It's still a suicide?
Suicide. So
That's
so
nuts.
we get Unsolved Mysteries back in. Hey, what happened? Was he killed?
Yeah.
Why? Is he a good guy? Was he really a secret agent for the government who was trying to help the mafia, trying to help the government pin down the mafia, and he got killed for it? Or was he a bad guy in the fact of he was helping the mafia drug guys launder money through transactions of real estate, bullion, whatever? We need to find this out. All right. It's kind of where they leave us.
Okay.
Update.
What do you got for us?
Still unsolved.
Nothing, huh?
So Unsolved Mysteries does come back and tell us a little bit that 3 months after this happened, a man, this is going to get weird, so stay with me. A man by the name of Doug Johnston, he was, I don't know, he's just a guy living in Phoenix, was found shot dead in his car. Okay? In Phoenix. Come to find out, this guy, Doug Johnston, worked across the street from where the investigative journalist, Don Devereaux, worked. And he drove the exact same vehicle that Devereaux drove. So Devereaux continued to look into Chuck Morgan's death, right? And all these mafia ties. Devereaux then got a call from a reporter in DC who said, hey, man, I just talked to a CIA guy and an intel guy and said, that guy, Doug Johnston, that was meant to be you.
Yeah, there's a hit
out on you right now. And so just so you know, be on the lookout. So they think that guy was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Sucks for that guy.
He looked like Devereaux, and
he
they drove the exact same car and they worked in the same place.
Yeah.
Here's the best part. Doug Johnston's death was also ruled a suicide.
Are you kidding me?
He was shot behind the left ear with a 25. Guess what? The murder weapon wasn't in the vehicle. There was no gun in the vehicle.
All right.
The gun has never been found, but yet was ruled a suicide. This is now in Phoenix.
Phoenix PD or whoever was over this and Pima County back then might have been corrupt and infiltrated by organized crime. But I can tell you what, we at least hope that today they are not. At bare minimum, they could change these deaths, which would allow some sort of investigation to potentially be there if they ever found anything.
Yeah. So I don't know. So, like I said, that's where Unsolved Mysteries tells us. And Devereaux supposedly got another call, said, hey, man, there's still a hit out on you. And, but now they're saying if they do come after you, they're going to make it look like an accident. So Devereaux, they tell him, like, be on the lookout. So he continued to. And
all he was just an investigator, journalist, right? So he was putting this information out there. He just
was a journalist.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So that's kind of that's the little bit of an update they give you.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah. So, okay. This case, clearly, there's a lot behind it. If you guys want a deeper dive into it, there are so many podcasts that have done this. Like there's a podcast, I don't know, I think it's called Morbid.
Oh yeah. Morbid. Mm-hmm.
They did a big long one on it.
Yeah.
Crime Junkies or something. They did something on it.
Yeah.
And that.
Those are some of the biggest podcasts in true crime.
So I was super curious on this. Okay. So I kind of dug into it. I did find out like Chuck, the medical examiner had ruled that Chuck had only been dead for 12 hours. So he was alive in that 10, 11 days he was missing. Where he was, what he was doing. It is believed that they pushed the theory that $60,000 he had was there to buy. He met up with the hitman that was supposed to kill him and said, hey, can I just buy my life back? He stole the money and killed him anyways, right?
Yeah.
There's no evidence of that.
Just a theory.
Yeah, I was curious of where his body was actually found. It was found actually off 86
Oh.
towards the Indian reservation out there towards Sells, Arizona.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. That Buenos Aires ranch was a ranch. It's not a ranch anymore. It's actually the federal government bought it in 1985 and they changed it. It's a wildlife reserve now. I've actually been there many times.
Yeah.
I've been to the building there, all that. So here's, hopefully I can make sense of this. I was like, that Devereaux guy, what was he digging into? I listened to an interview by him. He did an interview on a podcast. He was looking into the death of Chuck because he was also looking in that the government was flying stuff. There was a landing strip on that Buenos Aires ranch, and they were flying in gold from Asia after it. They were flying in gold, and that the CIA and the government was using that to help fund their secret black ops without government oversight. He was digging into that.
So they were laundering gold.
Yeah. And then obviously Chuck was helping transactions. So, but he wasn't just looking into Chuck's. He was looking into this whole conspiracy.
I know. It makes my blood boil how much like organized crime and the government a lot of the times are so similar.
Yeah. So, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. So he was looking into that. Someone called him an intelligence and said, listen, dude, you're not going to find anything, but if you keep digging,
you're going to
end up dead.
Trouble,
and he kind of dropped it because he goes, all of this was happening. He said, all the information I had, it was happening from 1972 to 1985. He goes, when I was looking into it, it was all over and done. He said, but he also thinks that once it aired on Unsolved Mysteries, the heat got too hot and they just dropped it.
Yeah, they'll drop it and figure out something else to do.
So anyways, like that was why that's what he was looking into. Supposedly he thought Chuck was tied to that smuggling on that Buenos Aires ranch. They were flying in stuff. It was all government tied.
That makes a lot of sense.
There's no evidence to point to.
There's never going to be evidence.
But you'll find this interesting. He got a call from a buddy of his. Hold on, let me pull this up. By the name of Danny Casolaro. Do you know who Danny Casolaro is? So Danny Casolaro was also a journalist, and he called him and said, hey, I think I have some information on this Chuck guy and his transactions of gold and bullion and all that stuff. Well, Danny Casolaro, shortly after that, was found dead in his hotel from his wrists being slit. This is the documentary about the octopus murders. That is the guy.
Yeah.
So supposedly that whole documentary, I haven't watched it. I've watched one episode. This death is supposedly tied into that in some small way.
Like the government silencing their own citizens.
So I can't really speak to it because I not watched it, so I don't know anything. I just know it was a big deal at the time. So there is a lot of rabbit holes you can go in on this. I'm not going to go down all of them.
Don't get involved in organized crime, you guys. My word of advice, you're just a pawn in a game and you can always be replaced.
Yeah. So anyways, technically, according to our
there's nothing to solve because
according to our podcast, it's technically unsolved, but not because his death is still ruled a suicide. The medical examiner ruled
County,
his death.
let's get that updated, shall we?
Unfortunately, his wife passed away in 2006, but he still does. I think from what I read,
his daughters are still around here.
So I read an article from Arizona, and they, like in 2010, and they talked to one of his daughters. All of his daughters obviously still think he was murdered. Sounds like they still, maybe some of them still live in the area, but they're not. Well, anyways, that's all.
We have a lot of people around here that listen to us. So if anyone knows one of their daughters, have them reach out to us. I would love to just interview them and get their take on it. So, okay. Before we jump into my story, we have a laundry list of new downloads because I've been bad about this over the last few weeks because we've been just so busy every time we log on to record. So yeah, welcome to all of these new places that we've been downloaded. If you're here with us for the first time, we're excited to have you. And if you just happen to download us while you are out traveling for work or for pleasure, thank you for letting us tag along with you. So here we go. Williston, North Dakota. That's Canada. Palmdale, California. Madison, Alabama. Glassboro, New Jersey. Halifax, Nova Scotia. Scotia, comma, That's correct.
That is Canada.
Canada. Bridgewater, Massachusetts. Is that how you say Massachusetts? Oh my gosh, now it's in my head. How do you say it?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts? That doesn't sound right. Pontiac, Michigan. Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. Rockwall, Texas. Gibson City, Illinois. Sorry. I was wrong. I have called it Illinois my whole life. I've been listening to podcasts and different things of people, and every time they say the state Illinois, there is no S on the end.
No.
I
looked it up, like where it comes from and all that.
Yeah, Ben gave me a history lesson. It's French. So the French like to do unnecessary things for fancy reasons and put S's on the end of words.
They spelled it that way, but then we
there.
pronounce it like, anyways, it's Illinois.
Mobile, Alabama. Hindman, Kentucky. Yep. I'm getting nervous because
questioning everything now.
Oh, I'm getting nervous now because I'm getting to our international ones. Lewisham, London.
Lewisham.
If you're from there, please send me a voice memo and let me know how to say that. Paris, France. Got that one. Easy peasy. And Ahamor, France. So there you go. Aha. Those are our new places. So welcome, friends. We're excited to have you. Okay, so I have a sad story for you guys. We're gonna take it down a notch. During the height of the civil rights movements, the Black community in Washington Parish, Louisiana, began to push for integration into the sheriff's department. Okay. In response, 2 Black deputies are appointed. 41-year-old David Creed Rogers and 34-year-old O'Neill Moore become the first 2 African-American men in law enforcement in Washington Parish. Huge deal. Yeah. The families of the deputies were excited. However, some residents, not surprising to anybody of the community, are not happy about this. There was a very strong outcry from a handful of people against African Americans taking part in any sort of law enforcement. Tragically, 1 year later, Deputy Sheriff O'Neill Moore is gunned down while on duty in what appears to be a racially motivated attack on June 6th, 1965. He is laid to rest, and his killer is at this not identified. His partner, Creed Rogers, loses an eye in the attack but survives, and he hopes that the attackers can still be identified and brought to justice. So that's kind of, we get that whole kind of thing right at the beginning. Like, this is what we're looking at.
This is our story that we're looking at.
At the time, African-American deputies such as O'Neill and Creed were not allowed to confront white people.
Of course not.
I know. You can be in law enforcement, but you're not allowed to. What? Okay. I'm going to get off on my soapbox here for a second. How this was still a problem post Lincoln and the Civil War and reintegration. Like, I'm always fathomed, which maybe I shouldn't be, that in 1964, we were still dealing with this stuff.
1964 was the year that the Civil Rights Act was passed.
I know.
Up until that point. And then you had the Scott P. Ferguson.
Yeah.
Where it was, yes. I mean, we all understand that segregation was law. I'm not saying
as someone who has studied that time era from Lincoln to that so very little, and I'm definitely not extremely educated on this, is that every time something was done in the correct direction, 3 steps went back, typically from the people still in power in the South that did everything that they could.
It didn't, I mean, obviously
all men being free and equal meant nothing to these people.
It did not end at the Civil War. That fight went on.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
they might be the sorest losers in world history.
So, but it's definitely,
it just makes me mad.
It's part of history.
I understand.
And it's terrible. And here's the thing, that the reason things get better is because of brave men like this that stepped up. And even though when they stepped up, they were held down, but they found ways to break barriers and push out. And it
cost a lot of them their life.
It did.
Yeah.
And they're heroes for doing a lot of the things that they did.
Okay. So one, they weren't allowed to confront them, much less they had no authority to arrest any people that were white. Despite the fact that they were working in a very white-dominated community and job that barely tolerated their presence, they persevered. They show up to work. They promised themselves that they were not going to let their community down. They did this job with honor and pride. It was the night of June 2nd, 1965, after just over a year on duty, O'Neill and Creed had come to expect harassment. It was kind of pro quo part of their job. As a result, they were not surprised when a pickup truck began tailgating them. When they got to Peters Hill, they noticed that a fire had been set on the side of the road. They make a U-turn. They go around to inspect the fire. Looking more closely, they realized that it was a trash fire. And it didn't look dangerous, so it really they didn't need to do anything about this. So they make another U-turn and start heading south down the road. The pickup truck that had been seen earlier pulled off to the right side of the road. As they passed the truck, it pulled out and began to follow them. Creed noticed that it was a dark black truck with white rail and a rebel tag on the front. As they continued to drive south, the truck sped up and pulled up next to the deputies. At least 2 of the occupants of the truck began to fire at the deputies. Both O'Neill and Creed were shot and lost control and crashed into a tree. A local resident heard the shots and ran to the crash scene. He found, unfortunately, that O'Neill had passed away and Creed was badly injured. He stood guard until police arrived. Chief Deputy Sheriff Dolly Holiday. That's like the Mary Poppins song.
The Mary Poppins song?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know which one.
It's a Jolly Holiday with you, Bert. A few minutes later, he began an intense investigation that would consume the next several months. As Creed was being taken away into the ambulance, he gave the description of the truck. And immediately, Sheriff Holiday puts out an all-points bulletin to be on the lookout for the truck. Some of us might call that a bolo, just for people that are in the know. Do you know what bolo means, Ben?
I have no idea.
Never heard of it?
Never heard of it.
About half an hour later, Dole learned that the truck fitting the description was apprehended in Tylertown, Mississippi. The truck fit the description perfectly, with the exception of the side rails. There wasn't side rails on it at the time of the apprehension. The truck driver was stopped 20 miles from the scene of the shooting and was arrested, but was later released on a $25,000 bond and charges were later dismissed due to any lack of evidence. Suspicion naturally shifts and focuses on our local terror organization. What do we call them?
KKK.
The Ku Klux Klan. However, the local chapter immediately denied any involvement. Racial tensions. What?
Well, yeah, because that's reliable.
Yeah, they're a reliable source.
If they said they didn't do it,
clearly we're going to take them at face value.
Yeah.
With their high wizard status. Did you know that that's what they call themselves? Like the main leaders, like the high wizard?
I didn't, because I've never looked into those scumbags.
I've listened to a few history podcasts and they kind of make fun of just the ridiculousness of it. High wizard? Is there a magic wand involved? Is there a sorting hat?
If there is, I can tell them where they can stick that.
Exactly. Thing. Oh my gosh. Scum. All right. Unfortunately, racial tensions continue to increase in the area. In Washington Parish, the sheriff refuses to give in to any pressure, and O'Neill was replaced by another African-American deputy. I will say, at face value, I didn't do a lot of research on this, the man running the sheriff's department. From all accounts, from what I saw on Unsolved Mysteries, he seemed to really be bothered that this was happening.
Yeah.
And it felt important to him to try to get this solved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So O'Neill's wife recalled that the shooting didn't really accomplish what the assailants intended to, as it didn't scare away any other African Americans from joining the department, and instead gave them courage to continue to show up and do their jobs. Sheriff Holliday continued to pursue the investigation, and 2 weeks after the shooting, the violence came to his home. That evening, after he finished talking to the sheriff on the phone, he went to the couch to sit with his family, and suddenly shots were fired into their home. Dole had his family get down on the floor and then grabbed his gun and went outside and fired back to the assailant's car as it drove away. He believes that the attack was to scare him and to stop the investigation. However, he and others involved refused to back down. The local population did refuse to cooperate, unfortunately, with FBI and local authorities. Not surprising. Despite, even at one point, a $25,000 reward from the governor of Louisiana being offered. And the case was deemed inactive in 1967. Dole believes that the people were afraid to come forward because the high wizard KKK was pathetic and scared people. I just don't want to give them any power. Like, it even annoys me that they had that much control over the community. And I understand it. That is how fear works. But that just feeds these little men's egos, their little pin-headed brains. People were afraid that this organization of losers would come after them or their families. So in June of 1987, the FBI field office in New Orleans was contacted by one informant. They sent a letter and 2 other anonymous sources. They claimed to identify the people responsible for O'Neill's murder. As a result, the new information, the case was reopened. According to the FBI, one of the letters was very specific on identifying the individuals within the pickup truck and identifying the getaway route of the truck. The FBI has looked into 3 individuals mentioned in the letter. They have interviewed their families and people associated with them. Unfortunately, the FBI does not have enough information at this time to make an arrest, but they believe that the killers are part of Loser Clubville, and it has been decades since the fateful night that O'Neill and Creed took their last ride together. Creed, who is interviewed, refuses to be frightened away. He lost an eye in this, and he's sitting on Unsolved Mysteries, and he he seems still so affected and touched by this, but also you can see this sense of like pride. In 1988, he actually retired as a full captain of the Washington Parish Sheriff's Department, which is awesome.
I think it's awesome. And no matter, even after this, he went back to work. He never let this.
He could have rightfully so been like, this is not worth it.
And they went there to do that. And then he succeeded. He moved up. And I can't even imagine that it was easy for him to even get promoted, all that. And
no, absolutely not.
Then go and still become, a captain and all that. It is.
No, I guarantee not every member of that sheriff's department for most of his career was excited to have him there.
But he paved the way for a lot of people.
He did.
That's pretty awesome.
So he still wonders today who is responsible for the shooting. He also fears that those responsible are alive and may decide to still come after and hurt him or his family or any of the other many African-American people who have decided to get into law enforcement. Sheriff Holiday notes that these individuals are getting older, and just like a good old Southern boy, points that these people are getting ready to meet their makers, and that they might want to confess to something before they decide to journey on to the next stage. And he's hoping that this can be solved. So that's kind of where Unsolved Mystery leaves us.
All right.
Update. You ready?
I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah. The FBI conducted a 2-year investigation into the case, interviewing more than 1,400 people and generating more than 2,000 written reports on this. According to a DOJ, that is the Department of Justice for Benjamin, memo, multiple suspects were investigated, including many of the men who posted bail for the original shooter. Or that was, I guess, originally arrested the night of the shooting. His last name was McElveen. McElveen. I hope he never had a day's rest in his life after this. As well as other known members of the Loser clan in the area. According to the DOJ memo, one of the major roadblocks in the investigation at the time was fear of retaliation. Despite the reward offered, the case was closed without prosecution in 1967. The case would be reopened again from new leads in 1989. And then they actually designated a major case and a priority investigation over this specific murder from the FBI, coordinating with the television program, Unsolved Mysteries. Heyo. That brought in a ton more leads, multiple witnesses. They even went before a grand jury. Despite these efforts, it was closed again in 1991. Opened again in 92, closed again in 96. So the case was finally and last time reopened in 2001. Despite many years and many investigations, the FBI fully identified a laundry list of people who contributed to this. That they felt that they
put out a list.
They did not put out a list.
Usually you don't unless you can bring them.
I wonder if now, because it's closed, we could do a Freedom of Information Act on it and might be able to get these case files, but
I don't think you can.
One of the problem is that at one point in the later investigation is multiple people all within the KKK all came to confess at like the same time. So then they had a ton of people taking, which then actually muddies the water even more. And I'll tell you this, there's no way those idiots came up with that idea themselves. I guarantee that was because someone within that clan was in some way connected, unfortunately, to people of power. And I cannot stand these. I hope they get lemon juice in their cuts and that their milk curdles every time they open it. Okay. So the FBI, due to that, one of those was many of the roadblocks. They weren't able to get enough evidence to prosecute any of people because so many things were getting crisscrossed. They continued to pursue the case even after the main suspect died in 2003. in 2016, citing virtual impossibility of pursuing and prosecuting a case. The FBI chose to close the case permanently.
It
Yeah.
appears, I can say it appears that they did try.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that they were unable to bring anyone forth to justice.
Yeah. It broke my heart.
But, I mean, every year that goes by, it becomes much more difficult. And I can imagine that in 2000, even in the 90s, golly, it was probably almost impossible.
All I can say is that anyone that was involved in this or this organization in general, that they always cut their toenails too short, that they always get lemon juice in their paper cuts, that toilet paper gets stuck to their butt every time they go, that whenever they go to a nasty gas station bathroom, that's hand soap isn't working and they just ran out of toilet paper. Those are, I mean, like, what else can you do? You just hope that everything about their life is miserable forever and that
I don't know. I mean,
justice on the next side will be served.
That's my hope.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, justice was not served in this life. And being a God-believing man, I just hope that God, and I know God will
I'll just
give
say
justice on the other side.
Be kind to each other out there. I'm not going to get too philosophical, but that is something that no one's perfect at. I try to live by, and I just be kind to everybody out there. All right, Ben.
All right, we're going to lighten things up a little bit.
I was going to say, please.
Because I don't have anything crazy for you. All right. And then I know you got a decent story. A decent one, yeah. A good one. Yeah. So I'm going to be quick on this one. This is a wanted. It's a bank robber. I'm not saying I'm saying it's lighter because it's not some tragedy. No one's died in this one. But unfortunately, he did rob banks, and it's not good. September 19th, 1987, Spokane, Washington, a bank robber comes in. Got sunglasses on, cowboy boots. It's called the cowboy robber, cowboy boot robber, right? They didn't say that in there, but in my research.
When we used to give cool names to terrible people, and now they're really against it, and I understand why, but also there was an art form to it.
Yeah. So anyways, he walks in, got sunglasses, he pulls a gun, he says, "Give me all your money. Don't set the alarm." He then proceeds to show he's got a police scanner, so I'll know if you try to trip the alarm. He goes in, he takes all the employees to the vault and steals $100,000. He's in and out in less than 5 minutes. No fingerprints because he makes one employee hold the bag while another employee loads the bag, and then he just takes the bag and he's out.
Genius.
But there's no photos, no video of it. It is the 80s, so FBI is looking for him. All right. So that's 1987. We find out that between 1987 and when this Unsolved Mysteries thing airs, he's robbed possibly at least 4 more banks. We get told about August 30th, 1988. He makes out with $14,000 in cash. As he's walking out of the bank, kaboom, a dye pack explodes. Makes a pretty big scene on the street. He runs and he gets in his car, drives off. And guess what? Someone sees him.
Someone sees it, yeah.
So with that person and some of the employees, they're able to put forth a sketch, but they still don't have a picture of this guy. All right. So we get shown the sketch. But guess what? We get lucky. June 6th, 1989, at the Horizon Credit Union in
Spokane?
Yes, I think it was Spokane.
Shout out to my family in Spokane. Hey, yo.
He pulls a gun. Give me all your money. And
is that how every bank robber says that?
Yeah.
Give me all your
money. Goes into the vault. He steals all the money in the vault. And then he says...
He got greedy.
He did get greedy. He said, "I want all the money in the tills." So... I didn't know this.
I didn't know this either. And I wonder if banks were like, gee, Thanks, Unsolved Mystery, for giving this away.
Yeah. But what the employee pulls the bill trap. From my understanding, they have video cameras, but they're not constantly rolling because it is the 80s and the technology.
And we just trusted everybody back then, apparently.
Right? But there are some bills underneath like a little lever in the till. And
it looks like a little money clip.
Yeah. And if you pull those bills, it flips that switch. And it's one, it sets off the alarm. And two, it triggers the video camera. So the employee, even though supposedly he's got a police scanner on his hip.
Yeah, but his gun probably wasn't even loaded. Like
she pulls the bill trap.
Yeah.
And
good for her.
They get a picture of him.
Yep.
We got a photo. We got a look at this guy.
He also was down here in Tucson, Arizona, wasn't he? Yeah.
The FBI realizes they get a picture of him. Well, there's a picture of this guy from Tucson that is supposedly robbed
2 times in one episode.
3 or 4 banks down in Tucson.
Yeah.
So he is suspected of robbing 9 banks. Okay.
Okay.
The photo of him.
Did we ever get a total of how much money he stole?
I did in my research.
Okay. I was saying, I don't remember them saying
$400,000.
Okay.
That we know of.
And adjusted for inflation, that's about 3 times.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's over $1 million. So, or close.
Close-ish. Yeah.
Though they think he's anywhere between the ages of 35 and 45. He's 6 feet to 6 feet 2 inches tall, 200 to 220 pounds. And you get a picture of him. He's got a mustache.
He has a significant
and some of them,
mustache.
He's wearing a cowboy hat. And he has cowboy boots on.
He does.
All right. Nothing wrong with that. I love my cowboy boots.
Ben looks good in a pair of cowboy boots.
That's all I wear.
Yeah.
If I'm not at work in my boots, it's cowboy boots. All right. Last bank he robbed was in Tacoma, Washington on April 1990. We're looking for this guy. Can we find him? Unsolved Mysteries.
All right. Update.
Never caught.
Shut the front door.
Never
Seriously?
caught. Yeah. So I did look it up. What the statute of limitations is on even an armed robbery with no one getting hurt and no one getting killed. Obviously, you kill someone, there's 5 years.
That's it?
So
to this day?
Yeah.
You guys.
So
that's dangerous information, I feel like, because to me, I'm like, I could hide out for 5 years.
So by 1995, if his last robbery was in April of 1990, and that's if he didn't rob any more banks, he's scot-free with $1 million or $400,000.
Okay, well,
but he was never caught.
If the cowboy bandit lives somewhere here in Tucson, Arizona, please reach out to me.
They did say they thought he lived down here and traveled to the Pacific Northwest to rob banks and then come back. And then he would come back. So, but they don't know. They have no idea.
Dude, I'm like now thinking through my Rolodex of like all of the people we know at the country club, the country bar, not the country club, 2 different things that we go dancing at where we got all of these guys as cowboys. There's a handful of them that are over 6 feet tall. Start asking them.
I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It does make me work because we've done multiple bank robberies now. Some have been caught.
So what does the statute of limitations start? I guess to me, because it's like, let's say it does start like the day of the crime. You have 5 years from the date or the 5 days from the time that the crime is realized. I mean, I get this bank robbery. It's very easy to know instantly. But if other things, is it when it's reported? Is it on the day that it was committed?
That is a great question. I don't know. So
yeah,
I'm not sure.
Is it the day that a police report is filed? So then it's something concrete?
All great questions. I was curious of the statute of limitations on bank robberies. Obviously, it's usually a federal case because all banks are federally backed.
The time that you serve for federal money crimes is some of them are longer than murder.
Some of them are pretty minimal too. I've heard robbers, they get a few years. You're like, dude, but you stole 500,000, you get 2 years, and you get it. And half the time
they couldn't find the money, so it's like by the time he gets out, he can just go get it. Yeah. All right, that's crazy. I cannot believe. Usually, bank robbers with a photo. Strong stuff. That ice water will get you every time. We can't have one episode where Ben doesn't have a coughing fit.
It does make me wonder. I'm going to do some research on how many bank robbers were out there that never got caught. It seemed that it was pretty easy.
No kidding.
To rob a bank. and then just get away
Because
with
this is
it.
the second or third one, at least on Unsolved Mysteries, that we've covered. Remember the guys that were like tunneling under the banks in California?
Yeah, they were never caught. That's what I'm
No.
saying. There's been multiple. I think the only one that I remember covering was the guy that like tripped and he dropped his gun.
Fumbling bank
Yeah.
robber or something.
But he was some 22-year-old college kid that
Yeah.
just totally made a mess of it.
Yeah.
And I think he's the only one that got caught. But again, I think he didn't do much.
No,
time.
I don't think so either.
I can't remember, but
That's nutso bananas.
it
Okay.
is wild how many people don't get caught.
All right. Are you guys ready for a fun story?
Yes.
Starts off a little sad, but we're going to get there. So this is a little different than most of the cases that we talk about on Unsolved Mysteries. It isn't about a crime or a disappearance or an alien or a Bigfoot. There is no amnesia in this story, and there's also no psychics involved. But what we do have is a medical mystery, a medical miracle, maybe. It is the story about, specifically this one, a young woman named Victoria and her dog, and how they formed a bond that possibly saved her life. December 4th, 1984, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, 19-year-old Victoria, her life has changed forever. A drunk driver runs a red light and slams into her car. Pause for effect. Do not drink and drive, people. It's really not that difficult.
Changed this girl's life forever.
Yeah, it did. It changed this girl's life forever. And thousands and thousands of people every day, night, weekend are affected by this. It's really not that hard. Get an Uber or drink at home. It's be an adult. She survives, but she suffers a severe head injuries. And before the accident, she had what you would call, she said, a perfect life. Afterwards, literally loses everything: her job, her education, and complete independence. Not long after she's let out of the hospital, she begins suffering from blackouts and seizures. And by 1986, doctors gave her a very grim diagnosis. She was diagnosed with a severe case of epilepsy. Have you ever known anyone who had epilepsy?
No, I don't.
So I've known one. A girlfriend of mine in high school. I think she was a grade younger than me, and I can't even remember her name. We became friends through we were taking German together. So she was a younger classmate than me. And I remember, it might have been my junior or senior year, me asking her, because she was getting ready to turn 16, or she had just turned 16. Obviously, like, are you excited? You're going to get your driver's license. Tell me about it. And she told me that she wasn't allowed to get her driver's license. And I was like, what's wrong with your parents? Like, we lived in a small town where same thing, like not having access to a vehicle is detrimental as a teenager, because you're not walking to the movie theater. You're not walking anywhere. And she said that she had pretty bad epilepsy and could not legally get a driver's license at the time. And that was like my first time being like, whoa. And I had never seen her have a seizure. Like, we'd been in this class together for the entirety of the year or anything like that. And I remember asking her several questions. Hers, according to her, at least at the time, wasn't terrible, but it did affect.
But when you're diagnosed with it,
she even had to be careful, like walking upstairs, because if she has a seizure while she's on the third floor of our language arts building, it's cement stairs all the way up. It's an outdoor building. She had to take the elevator. Like, it was detrimental to her in that way. And at 16, not able to get her driver's license, which stinks.
Yeah.
So at worst, our main person here, Victoria, was having more than 20 seizures a day.
Debilitating.
Yeah.
Just terrible.
She was confined to a wheelchair, often strapped down so she wouldn't hurt herself during violent convulsions. Death, doctors warned her, as Robert Stack tells us, was a constant threat. Victoria described her life as hopeless. She was isolated, depressed, and even at times didn't have a desire to live. But help would come in a very unexpected place. Just outside Tacoma, Washington, at the Purity Correctional Center for Women, inmates were part of a pilot program there. They were training shelter dogs to become service animals. I love this story. I love this concept.
Yeah.
I looked into this a little bit. I'd heard about this place before. It's a maximum security prison. I don't know who the warden was at the time or how this concept got going. I think it is an incredible program, especially with the fact that it uses shelter dogs too. These are not, most of the time in the world of animal training, let's take law enforcement. We have several friends that do canine units and that work and train these dogs. It is highly specific on breeders and
they're bred
for that. And same thing in the world of medical, animals as well. And the fact that this was, a lack of a better term, killing two birds with one stone. You were helping with the animal shelter, saving animals' lives that way, giving some light and hope to women that were incarcerated for whatever reason, with a great skill to be able to do on the outside, which limits.
When you were giving them purpose while they're there.
Exactly. And I was reading that they have a way lower chance of reoffending if they have purpose and some way to make an income outside of these prison walls. So awesome. And these service animals range anywhere from 10 to 20 thousands of dollars. And so this also allows a program where it makes it affordable for more people. So Victoria had heard about the program in 1987 and goes to meet a dog. During her visit, Victoria actually had a seizure while she was there. The dog selected for her actually walked away. So another dog in the room, a golden retriever named Harley, did something different. He wasn't even assigned to her at the time. He ignored the trainer's command, walked across the room, went to Victoria, and laid down beside her with his head on her chest until the seizure passed. When she woke, Harley rested his head on her as if he understood what had happened, and everyone in the room was just kind of taken back. From that moment, Harley was hers. At first, he helped her with daily tasks. So that's what they trained there for originally. Opening doors, X, Y, or Z, retrieving stuff, making her life a little bit easier, giving her some independence. But soon Victoria realized that Harley was doing something different. He wasn't just helping her recover from seizures. He started to predict them.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a psychic dog on our hands.
No.
No?
It's not a psychic dog.
Oh, okay. Not a psychic dog.
No.
Telekinesis dog.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. I'm just trying to make this a little bit more unsolved mystery for you. The first time it happened, she and Harley are walking across the college campus. So yeah, her even having this dog back in her life allowed her to start being safely able to go certain places, and including taking some classes back again at school. However, and if anyone's ever seen a service dog, they're very calm. Even in chaotic, crazy situations of people in public, nothing seems to faze them, and they listen and are highly obedient to their person. However, while walking across campus, Harley became crazy. He started barking, pacing, nudging at her walker, jumping up and down, completely unlike his normal calm self, not listening to what the commands he was giving. Not knowing what else to do, Victoria just found an empty classroom, hoping to just calm the dog down and get a minute. Minutes later, she was hit with a seizure. After that, he never failed to warn her, sometimes as much as 45 minutes beforehand. He gave alerts to her if she was somewhere, so she had time to get to a safe place. Away from traffic, away from stairs, and a place where she couldn't hurt herself. For the first time since her accident, Victoria had control of her life again. She could never leave her house, go to class, take walks, or anything. Now, Harley by their side, they were 2 in 1. They did everything, all of those things and more together. She started to become social again. She was in activities and outings and social events and all of that. Their bond grew very close, and he was her constant shadow. But doctors and scientists are amazing. We're interviewed by a doctor or scientist who specializes in epilepsy. And they're telling us there's no medication, no machine, no nothing on the face of this earth and all of the technology that we have that can predict when a seizure is going to strike. It's actually one of the biggest problems with epilepsy. But yet, this dog could.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't the only one. Other dogs in the program started to show the same mysterious gift. Harley gave Victoria her life back, but tragically, his own was cut short. I know.
I about lost it when I
You
heard
guys,
it.
I don't cry over a lot of things, but talking about animals dying, like I'm choking up right now, so I'm going to try to get through this and not cry.
I thought it got me all upset.
In 1990, just 7 years old, he developed a neurological illness, which there was no cure for. It just breaks my heart that, like,
Sierra's all red-eyed right
you
now.
guys, a neurological, like, he saved his owner from a neurological, like, debilitating illness. Then he ended up with one himself, and we couldn't do anything to help him. Oh my gosh. Okay. Within months, he had passed away. Victoria was devastated, saying, "He gave me life. And that's more than you could ever give anybody." Harley's story, though, didn't end there. His case sparked a wider recognition for seizure alert dogs and even inspired medical research. In 2019, so this is kind of my update.
Because that's where
bit.
Unsolved
Yeah.
Mysteries leaves us, right?
I mean, because at that time, this was like, is this a one-off thing? Like, how is this happening? What's going on here? I mean,
Robert Stack comes out like,
Yeah.
what happened? What is
Yeah.
this?
So in 2019, French researchers tested whether dogs could detect seizures by scent. They collected sweat samples from people during surgeries and trained dogs to identify them. The dogs were able to do it with remarkable accuracy. Then again, in 2021, researchers in Ireland went a step further. They suspected people released a unique chemical compound in their sweats before a seizure began. They collected samples from people with epilepsy, and even untrained dogs reacted to those samples. So there is something in dogs that they can detect this hormone or this chemical change. Scientists are beginning to confirm, still to this day, this is an ongoing thing because it's not the easiest to study, that what Victoria and Harley basically discovered and knew and trusted in each other, that some dogs can detect seizures using senses far above and beyond our own. So for people with epilepsy, they discover that this has been life-changing. Today, seizure alert dogs are recognized around the world. They give their owners freedom, safety, and peace of mind. As for Victoria, she went on to rebuild her life. She earned a college degree, volunteered with nonprofits, and continued living her life with epilepsy. Though her seizures never went fully away, Harley did give her hope. In 2002, Victoria passed away at just 56 years old. She was survived by her daughter and her granddaughter and her siblings. But her story and our beloved dog Harley live on in every...
Wait, in what year did she pass?
Did I say 2022?
Okay, you said 2002.
No, sorry, 2022. Thank you for
Okay.
catching that.
Well, I was just...
Sorry, my eyes are still blurry. Well, some dogs have this gift. It's still technically an unsolved mystery as to what this, like, they don't know in dogs specifically how and why they have this. That hasn't been understood yet. Just that it is happening. They don't really know how and why, but that dogs are able to do this. But for people whose lives are changed every single day, I don't think they really care about finding the who's and whys.
There's programs now that literally train dogs to do this.
Yes.
And you can buy
I just
one
think
of these.
scientifically, we don't understand what is so unique or different about dog senses that they can detect this. And I don't even know if they know the exact compound or what is released in our, like, we don't understand it as humans, what exactly they're detecting. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like a search dog can, I remember someone saying this to me, and maybe even you did, or one of your buddies at work. Sense dogs, like we see a cheeseburger and it's a cheeseburger. It smells like a cheeseburger, But a dog can smell the bread, the lettuce, the tomato,
Yes.
like all of these layers.
They're not smelling it all. They smell each individual thing.
They don't know in humans with epilepsy what exactly that tomato layer is that's making their sweat detectable that way.
Well, it's not, maybe there is some type of mystery, but not completely, because when you have, at least from what I watched a documentary on this, dogs that do this.
Yeah.
Like a program where they were giving dogs to people like that.
Yeah.
That your body does create some type of chemical when you're about to have a seizure. So if there is a different scent that your body puts out, maybe you don't know what the exact is, then yes, a dog is going to be able to detect it because they have. I think that's why it's a mystery.
It's not. They're not saying that it's. What's the word I'm looking for? It's a medical mystery in the fact that we don't understand the ins and outs of it, but they're not saying that it's a one-off. They're not saying, hey, this is just a freak thing that this happened one time.
No,
they understand that it's happening and they are working to understand it more.
I liked this story because it was cool to see that in 1990, when this airs, Robert Stack is telling the world of this phenomenon that most people at that time had no idea was even a thing. Now in 2025, we are training dogs to do this. These dogs are, I understand they might not be super common. I know it's still hard to even get dogs to do it. And a lot of dogs won't do it. But it is now very well known and it has changed thousands of people's lives.
Oh, yeah. And from my understanding, they're even trying to see if they can start doing it now for people detecting blood sugar crashes instead of people, like all of these different things that our bodies have something inside of us that is medically a problem.
You change chemically,
and they're trying to figure out how, if we're able to be aware that this medical event that's coming up is going to happen, how it benefits people's lives, that they can take medication, they can get somewhere safe, they can prepare, they can plan X, Y, or Z, whatever that looks like for people. I think it's great. And I'm so grateful for this woman and for her dog and this chance encounter that she put 2 and 2 together instead of just thinking, I can't take my dog back to school with me because for some reason he reacts weird to the smells there or whatever. Because that would have been a really easy thing to just kind of do.
Would have been easy to excuse it as anything but that.
Exactly.
And she recognized it. And then they recognized it together.
Yep.
And what I'm saying is when he would react for her to do something, she in a way was reaffirming you're doing the right thing. So he continued.
And for him to even recognize that these seizures were dangerous for her.
I mean,
how do you communicate that to a dog?
It's a great story.
You can't even do that with children. They run out in the streets when you let them out of the car. And you have to tell them 1,000 times, this is dangerous. But a dog figured that out just solely based on his observation of someone that he loved.
Because he's an awesome dog.
He's an awesome dog. We're so grateful for him.
And I didn't even know him, but when they said he'd passed, I was
really clearly
upset.
And Robert Stacks just said it in the most blowing. He was like, and then the dog died. And I was like,
he didn't say exactly like that.
He did, because our daughter was in the room with me and she's like, whoa, that was aggressive.
Yeah.
She was like, excuse me, sir. I was like, yeah, some people just react very differently to animals passing away. I can watch all the true crime documentaries in the world, but you throw in a death of an animal and I turn into freaking...
I don't want to talk about it.
I won't watch that movie ever again. I won't do that. So, okay. All right, guys, that is our episode. So before everyone takes off, just a quick reminder, you've got 2 ways you can support the Unsolved Couple. In the show notes below, there's Buy Me a Coffee. We are gathering funds to upgrade our equipment and to, like I said, my goal this next year is I would like to do a Patreon, which would require some more technology. I'd like to get to the point where we even have video recordings of our podcast, and that's going to require upgrading. It's going to require you guys getting Ben a laptop and converting him over to that. Or you can click the link, support the show in the notes. If you want to support us in a zero financial way, we also means the world to us. There's a few things you can do. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok. We're Unsolved Couple Pod. You can share us with a friend. I do post almost every day. You can share those with your social media friends. And the other way that takes just a few seconds of your time, but really goes far in how we're shared worldwide, is to leave a 5-star rating and review. I think specifically Apple Podcast is probably the best place for that. Spotify, there's comments you can leave. The more comments, and I interact with these people back and forth on Spotify comments too. So please do that. And now I'm going to ask Ben a silly question to kind of wrap it up. If you don't like the banter, you are welcome to exit stage right, and we'll see you back here next week. And for everyone else that's sticking around, here is your question, Ben.
Okay.
What is one thing that you have epically failed at so bad, or something that you really have tried multiple times and just can never seem to get good or right about it? And this is a lighthearted phone. This is not like life serious, sad things, but just, is there anything like that that makes you think like, oh, I've tried this multiple times and I just never can do it?
You go first. You're gonna have to go first on this one. Here's the thing. Don't get me wrong. I failed at a lot of things in life. I don't think
anyone's, but this is meant to be lighthearted. But I'll tell you one thing that I really still to this day am not great at, and it makes no sense to me. I really suck at making pancakes and grilled cheese sandwiches. I fail at them.
You are terrible
all
at
the
it.
time.
You are so bad at it.
And why?
And I don't know.
I can make really complicated food.
I've said this already, like literally 2 weeks ago. You are an amazing cook.
And I love cooking and I understand it. And there are so many things that I can do well. So that it's just weird to me that this one tiny little piece of culinary thing, and I'm sorry, but grilled cheese sandwiches and pancakes are some of the most simplest things. And maybe but I can grill other things and I do just fine at them. But those two things, my bread is either burnt or my cheese isn't melted enough. And my pancakes are either dense or they're still raw in the middle. I cannot get it together. That's the first thing I thought of when I read that question or prompted me. I was like, yeah, I've tried longboarding and several other things. I have this weird fear of especially since my brain surgery of falling. So I know that that's affected my ability to be as brave. I would love to be better at longboarding and be better at rollerblading and stuff like that because I enjoy it. But I have this fear. If I fell in my head right now, it would be terrible, you guys. But the silly one was, I cannot cook pancakes or grilled cheese sandwiches. Don't ever ask me to make them for you. I'm not good at them. So, quesadilla, though, not much different. I can do just fine on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know. You'd made pancakes the other night, and I'd offered. I was like, I'll make them.
I know,
and you're
but I wanted
no,
to
I
try.
got it. And our daughter said, she came out, Sierra had left. I was doing something, and her daughter goes, "Did Mom make these?" I said, "Yeah, she did." She was like, "Okay." I was like, I tried. She said no. She was like, "All right, I guess I'll eat them."
Yeah, and it doesn't even hurt my feelings because
no, it shouldn't, because you're an amazing cook, and it's just one thing, and we all got that.
So, did that ring any?
I think I said this before. I've tried chopsticks several times, and I'm terrible.
Have I asked this question before?
You asked me something in this line, and I do remember.
Sorry, guys, if I'm repeating them, I've now come up with 50-something questions, trying to keep it lighthearted and short time frame.
I think it was just something you tried doing, you just can't do. So it's kind of in the same way, but you did mention something I've never been very good at. I've tried it multiple times. Roller skates. The 4 wheels in a square. Mm-hmm. I can stay up, kind of, and I can do some laps.
Ben is fun to go to the skating rink with.
But
because I'm actually pretty good at roller skates.
You are good. Everyone else seems to be just fine, but I can stay up for a little while. But if I have to ask me to do anything specific, yeah, it's it's not even a fear for you. No, I don't have a fear. It's just the coordination. Yeah. I don't know, What's the word? The technique. I just can't quite figure out the technique. But I will say, growing up, I did a little bit, but I went straight to rollerblades because they were newer.
Yeah.
And,
dude, I used to kill it on the rollerblades.
Rollerblades were way easier. And so I stuck with that. Yeah. And then now you could not get me on a pair of rollerblades.
I would love to actually try to rollerblade again.
No, I would never do it again because
I don't think it's that hard.
It's not that. It's that my ankles give me problems. As I've gotten older, I have major problems with my ankles and the fear of hurting my ankles on rollerblades.
That would have a deep impact on your life.
So we've gone to the roller
skating rink
and with our kids when they were younger. We haven't been for a little while. We should go again sometime. It'd be fun. But I've gotten on roller skates.
That's what we should do when we get big enough in Unsolved Couple world, in True Crime Podcast world. Let's meet up somewhere, you guys, and have a skate rink party. Unsolved Mystery style. And we play 90s and 2000s music. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Okay. All right.
This has Ben's whole life. Me being like, I just had the best idea.
I have an idea.
All right. Anything else you want to add to our question?
No,
that's good. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoy the visual of Ben trying to roller skate. I'll try to get a video of it next time we go. But join us again next week where Ben and I once again recap one of your original gateway drugs into true crime.
Unsolved Mysteries.
Bye.